vijana sasa ni mpaka wasimame waseme kwamba wataingia katika this from MCA to the president. They will be involved. They will look for those seats. And somebody said 3/4 of people should be young people in those seats. So it's important to say that this is the number we'll occupy, and we want to occupy leaders who are not going to be cheats, who don't just focus on what they get, leaders who want change for the majority of our people, real change. Katiba inatengenezwa, inatekelezwa, vijana wanashughulikiwa, mambo ya elimu, mambo ya afya, mambo ya kilimo bora, all those things that tumekuwa tunahitaji yafanywe, ndio Mkenya asikie kwamba yeye ni mtu kwa kweli, na the country recognizes everybody. So you need to be careful so that as you work towards now getting into the leadership 2027 or whenever, if it is earlier or 2027, you need to really prepare yourself. And I think hii kitu ya civic education hiyo ni kubwa. Huku nyumbani watu kwenda wanaambiwa, vijana kama wakijitokeza kila mahali Kenya, hizo awards 1450 wanaambia wazazi, especially akina mama, kwa sababu ndio wanapiga kura sana, wanasema sisi ni vijana wenu, ni watoto wenu, unajua hatuna makazi, unajua elimu ni duni, unajua hizo shida zote nyinyi mnazo, mmetulipia fees, hakuna kitu tunafanya kwa sasa, tunataka na nyinyi mtupe mamlaka sasa, ndio na sisi badilishe inji ya Kenya. You see, there's language, there's narrative that you can go out there and say to our parents, to your parents, to everybody, so that then they say, we need generation change. We need a change from, the older guys now to the majority of the younger guys, a new generation. And that's what they're trying to do in Bangladesh. There is, I think, a party which is dominated more by young people who got the dictatorship out, and they are saying that they really want a difference. Even up in South Africa, we went to Malema tries, kwa sababu, although there was a bit of tribalism which interfered, lakini wana watu parliament wanasimama wanasema kwamba the Africans want land, the Africans want freedom, the Africans want jobs, dignity and stuff like that. So that's necessary, because we made a good constitution, reasonably good constitution, which shouldn't be changed just for people to get seats and stuff. But then it has to be implemented, and it's only you guys who can force, so that anybody who becomes a leader, they know their first responsibility is to respect the constitution and is to implement it, because if it was fully implemented, many of the things that we complain about, many of them would be kind of tackled. And maybe so that nisidominate sana, you guys, the Gen Zs, it is important that you define a leadership of not one person. It's not one person we are looking for. We are looking for a group, so that it is group leadership, so that, as a consequence, decisions are made through consensus by many people, face of Kenya, generations, genders, disability, kila inakuwa kwamba ukiona uongozi, sura ya uongozi ni sura ya Kenya. So please, let's talk more about group leadership, not the leadership of one person, because sometimes wakati tunasifu mtu kibinafsi, na yeye hiyo huku kusifiwa kunaingia katika kichwa chake, anafura, na ndio anaanza kufanyia mambo yasiyofaa. And so it's up to you actually. In me, when I sit down, as I teach, as I do things like that, and as I think about our country, if the Gen Zs were to come together and have their own leadership, and then say, sisi sasa tuna leadership yetu, tunataka tuone wale wengine, wale wa generations zingine na wao wana leadership aina gani, alafu tutaikagua, alafu tutasema sisi tutaungana na whatever now you decide, and then you are not amuungani kama junior partners, mnasema kwamba tunaungana kama equal partners, and in actual fact because we are the ones who are many, we are stronger, maybe by election time about 20 million young people, Gen Zs and Ys, who can make the whole difference, so that because when you accept to be just mnaingia tu mahali popote, huyu anaenda hivi, mwingine anaenda vile, mwingine anaenda vile, you are weak. But if you are together and you are doing your politics together, and then you say yes, we know that it's important to kuungana na watu wengine, lakini sasa tunataka tukae kwa meza tukipewa heshima na tunataka tukubaliane, tujadiliane, ndio iwe kwamba this is how things will go and these are the things we are demanding, particularly in terms of manifesto, the Kenya that you really want and the Kenya that is youth centric, and so that please, if you don't have your own strong organization, like sometimes people say June 25 movement, if you don't have that, then kila kiongozi wenu atakuwa tu anachukuliwa, wengine wanapewa hela, wengine wanaambiwa utapewa kazi, na baadaye anasaulika, kwa sababu akitumika, that's the end of the story. Anaambiwa politics, ukiingia kaa macho, usipokaa macho shauri yako. So I am really thinking that it's now time for your consolidation. Ni kweli serikali iliwapiga sana, naona kina Kibet Bull hapa, serikali iliwapiga sana mpaka people kind of withdrew a little, kupumzika kupumzika, kupunga hewa. But wakati wa kupunga hewa, msipunga hewa kwa muda mrefu zaidi. And we follow, what Akinabili do. We follow and we know that there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of resilience among you, and Kenya is lucky because of you. And be careful sometimes. Mnaambiwa huyu mtu amenunuliwa na whatever, unless you yourselves mnaangalia, mnajua ni kweli, you can be divided on those lines, mtu amenunuliwa and whatever. And finally, if somebody who is very important in your movement just goes and gets handouts, either to join some group or whatever, then how are you going to tell Kenyans don't get handouts so that you can vote for anybody? Because these people have money, come during election time and give out a lot of handouts, and therefore people vote on handouts or on tribe and stuff like that. But if now you accept handouts, and it's not a structured thing that you have, you raise money yourself, you can even raise money from the citizens if they see you have a good agenda, like Obama did when the first time he ran. So please know that in like Akina Gaddafi, Akina Thomas Sankara, Akina even Martin Luther King, there are many world leaders, very influential people. Even Mandela, when he joined ANC, he was very young, and there are many examples of presidents, prime ministers under 35, particularly in Europe. So please claim what you must have in Kenya and lead Kenya. This is your time, and I thank you, Billy, you guys, Steve.